All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear us. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Hey, what's going on? I just jumped right into it.
Yeah, boom. That's how we do it.
Note to self, we need a nice intro like Lords and everyone else has.
I know. Yeah, that's cool. I think we did a good job with our standby thing. Did you guys like that?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm getting crazy.
So yeah, this is the fun part of going live for the first time on our channel. So you get to get all the broken bits and pieces tonight. But it's fun. So oh nope, you're silent now, John.
I'm gonna fix it and come right back.
There you go. So anyways, guys, thank you for joining. As John gets his audio working, we're gonna just essentially just walk you through the site, kind of some of the stuff we've been doing behind the scenes for the past 6 months, and some of the features we've kind of added, while also taking a Q&A at the end. A popular question we always get is, will there be an app? So everyone will probably ask that at the end. So, we'll answer things as best as we can. We also have a book to give away at the end, so stay at the end. You got to be present to win. We're going to do this Cobra Commander 1 in 50 foil. It is nice and near mint. I'm not holding it on the spine, as you can notice. But yeah, this is a very pretty book. And yeah, so bear with us as we stumble across the site. Feel free to ask things as we come across. So if you have a question, how does that work? What does that do? Maybe more specific. But,
what is that? So
what does that do? What is that?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay, I finally figured that out. As Matt is saying, so I'm John. This is Matt. What we're trying to do is a new, YouTube live show, probably once a week in the future, called Comics Covered, because we're very clever and we use our own branding in our own words here. And the goal of it, like Matt was saying, is just to kind of answer questions. We realize that all of you guys use CovrPrice, and there's probably a lot of stuff that you're not using correctly inside or you don't know about that would really enhance your experience. Like there's a ton of stuff, like little secret things that make this tool super powerful. We're going to walk through a bunch of that, talk about some comic trends and all that. So why don't we kick it off here? I'll share my screen and we'll figure this out. Let's see. All right.
And just a heads up, we do plan to do a more polished show moving forward, where it'll be
something polished. Similar. How dare you?
What's that?
This is polished. How dare you?
Yeah, right. Where we'll take you through content for the week, so we do plan to do a more regular live show. And again, it'll always end with Q&As. So if you guys have questions that you think not only do you need, but that you think everyone else would benefit from, we're open. We'll include that in every one of those future shows. So a little bit less fancy tonight. We'll just walk through this with you. First, we're just going to hit up the top 10, just to kind of highlight. So this top 10 refreshes every Monday. A lot of people think that this is a curated list, or that it's a list that's kind of like a what to buy. And we just kind of wanted to call out and let you guys know like what it really is. And this is basically all the data from last week of the books that sold the most and trended in price together. So it's basically what you guys buy is what ends up on this list. So while there's always books that would be more exciting, or if people get a little annoyed that Ultimate books are on there every single week, it is what it is. These books keep selling, and while other lists can be a little more curated, and not that that's bad, this is just a reflection of what was moving last week, not necessarily what you should go out and buy. If anything, steer. A lot of these are like, don't buy now because they've hit. We even in our notes, if you guys pay attention to the write up, and any of the shows that we do with Lords of the Long Box. We also have a quick one on this channel. We always tell you what the current fair market value is, so it gives you a good assessment of the highs it hit and what it's currently going for, and whether it's about this, at a similar point, maybe a little bit higher. Most of the time, they're a little bit lower. So it's just something to keep in mind of what that actually is. Where does that sales data come from? It's pulled from a bunch of different sources, but because of some of the more obvious ones are like eBay, is because a lot of these current books are moving the most on there. My Comic Shop is another one that's those are our two buttons that are on there, so they're probably our two biggest ones, especially for recent releases. Other sites are more bigger books usually.
Yeah, we're pulling from about 5 different sites right now, and we're constantly expanding our net. Heritage is one of them, for example, but you have to realize, some marketplaces sell certain eras of comics more than others. Heritage is more, older comics, golden age kind of stuff, big auction stuff. eBay is more modern and a little bit of sprinkled of everything else. So you actually have to cast a really wide net to get enough data to make sure that the entire database of comics actually has sales associated with it.
And something I like to call out in this section, if you pay attention, I mean, some of these books sell hundreds of copies in a couple weeks, in 1 week, sorry. But some of these books trend with just 30, 40 copies. There's a big misunderstanding that people are flipping their books. We've noticed that these books have large print runs, and we're seeing 40, 50 copies trend in the aftermarket. It kind of tells you most people are holding on to their books and just paying attention to the market. While there are books trending in a significant way, we just don't see a lot of flipping going on in terms of in our point of view. So that's kind of just some fun little insight data on the top 10. James asked, talking pricing, are you able to trap out signed books? When I see a price that appears to be an outlier, I typically look to see if that was a CGC sale or signed.
So I can actually tackle that one if you want. So, whoops, hi. Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. So we actually have quarantine zones and different types. So basically the process that we do is we gather sales, and we're collecting about 25,000 sales per day, right, that are coming in. Our algorithms that we've built scan through that as best as it can to map the right sale to the right comic, to the right variant, to the right condition. And it's incredibly, it's really intricate. Whenever our system can't do it with a high level of accuracy, it gets quarantined. And when it's quarantined, our team goes into that and manually reviews it, especially for hotter books and things like that. But it stays quarantined until we can actually guarantee that it's an accurate sale. And that it actually is not like an outlier in any kind of way, stuff like that. And one of the things we quarantine for right now is signed or autographed. Now, the update to the quarantine was something that we just did about a month ago, maybe less than a month ago. And now it's much more, we had something in place, but this is like 2.0 of it. And so it's going to be much more accurate. But you're right. Whenever you see an outlier or something crazy, typically it was because a signed thing gets in there, or a variant gets incorrectly attributed to the wrong comic, right? But you should see a lot less of that. And if you do, let us know and we can get those things fixed. But we built a really—
just to tap in, oh, sorry, John. I was jumping on top of I thought you were winding down there.
I wind down, but then I wind back up.
Right. You started back up again. Just to touch upon that, we've gone through several stages of quarantining sales, and every stage we go through on the back end is better. We recently had a very big update to that functionality, that tool in the back end of things, and it's fantastic. And that just went live about a week or 2 weeks ago. So you're going to see a lot less of that now than before. There were a lot more holes in that net, right? And so stuff could sneak by. It also depends on, the system is also really heavily dependent on how people list a book. So, for example, a lot of sellers surprisingly leave out the words CGC or CBCS, or we've noticed that a lot of people have been doing GCC and mixing up the letters. Those tend to go through. We're working on actually quarantining a lot of those misspellings too. So it's impossible to block everything that comes through, but it's now way better than it's ever been before.
Yeah, and we should say that we've been doing this now since 2018 is when we launched. Every single year is another update of accuracy. We're looking at AI, we're looking at image recognition and things like that, and machine learning and all those fun things that will help make it even more accurate and pull from an even larger source. So you stick with us, it's going to get more and more. I mean, it should be already now everything that you want it to be in terms of accuracy because of these new updates, but like it's just going to get better and better. But let's move on, Matt. Let's go into some of these other things here.
I just want to mention one thing, and those sales aren't gone. So we do track all the graded or the signed stuff. They're just quarantined. So we do plan on add a signed element to the site in the future. So once we do, all those sales are just sitting there, and we'll bring them in. And we'll hit a lot of your questions up as we go. If we miss it, please reshare it if we didn't touch upon it. Yeah.
Well, and we're going to go through the site, so we'll kind of show you everything. But why don't you talk about the movers and shakers?
So if you guys don't know, movers are basically it's a weekly list that's constantly updating throughout the week. Basically, the books are trending the most by volume in the aftermarket. So obviously, the ultimate books are just incredibly hot right now, and so those are sitting at the top. And if you don't know, Spawn is one of the best-selling aftermarket books of all time. Like, it is constantly, like, every single week, 40, 50 copies, every single week, just without fail. There's a million of them, so there's a lot out there. And people freaking love Spawn. There's a lot of collectors, and we can go into this on another show, but nostalgia buying is really hot right now. Everything that was popular in the 90s is on fire in aftermarket. Image books are selling graded 9.8 for like all those launch books, $150 to $200. So it's like, those were once considered trash books and not so much anymore. Yeah. But essentially you'll see basically this is a good way to get a feel of what people are buying in bulk, not in bulk, but the books that people are chasing and actively buying. And it's just a good glimpse of what's actually trending on the top of the surface of the aftermarket. Now, Shakers gets a little more niche, where this is basically the biggest sales from the day before. You can see a day where there's a big Heritage Day, and it'll just be overtaken by Golden Age books, the whole thing, because it all comes in together. And then other days there'll be a little less, and you'll see a lot more modern books. It's kind of fun to check this list. It's the first thing that I visit every day, just because I like to see the nuances and some of the stuff. Like, there's a lot of repeat books, that are always popping up. But John, if you scroll down a little bit, there's always like, I kind of like to linger at the bottom there, because there's always something interesting. Like, that Spider-Woman book was on there. Dragon Ball's trending in a big way right now.
I like that you said lingering at the bottom.
Well, so I like to stay at the bottom because I like those 400, 500, 600, 700 price books. That's kind of where I live when I'm collecting. Do you have any of these? That's where a lot more moderns tend to be, and I'm a modern collector. So you kind of gravitate. Oh, in the future, we'll be able to sort this list yourself by age. Is that correct, John? Just in the future?
Yeah, we actually have a very, very near future next week, as a matter of fact. Matt, it's a good segue because we're about to do a huge launch on Wednesday of next week that's going to completely redo our homepage that allows you more access to different aspects of the sites. And it's also going to update this list page and the shaker page and the mover page so that you can now filter by top sales and have more access. And that's one thing we're going to be doing across the site this year is you're going to go to the series page for any of these, and you're going to be able to see in a series all the variants, all on one page, all the standard covers, and you're going to be able to filter everything in that series by top estimated value, by things in your collection.
Yeah, so if you want to see the most valuable book in one particular series, you'll now be able to sort that, which is huge. Like, we do a lot of content, and that's going to be really useful to me to build content out of. I mean, because and that's going to be super addicting because I'm going to be going through all my favorite like series and finding out what the most valuable.
It's like a
like
drug.
I want to do Spawn right away. Sorry, John, what were you going to say?
It's funny because we love comics, and every time we make a change to the site, it just makes us on the site longer, and we're stuck. We're addicted to our own product.
Yeah, we're fans of comics. So we're doing updates, like whatever you're thinking, we're definitely thinking it because there's things we're constantly trying to fix and constantly update. Like this is pretty much the money we make. It goes right back into the site, and to hire people and make the site better and constantly fix and tweak the things. So if you want, if there's something you don't like or something you feel like is missing, reach out to us, and we're probably already on it, and we'll just let you know that.
Thanks, Dark Lord by Night.
What was that?
You said that's going to be huge. Yeah, honestly, our whole thing is we want to make comics accessible to your collection and to you researching and things like that. So anything we can do to surface it, like we know our like the process of adding comics to your collection is tiring. We're looking at ways to improve that. We have a lot of cool things like in that series page, you'll be able to say add entire series at once and assign this value and this, a
lot of bulk options are coming too.
Which I think is going to be scanning, image recognition, all of that stuff we're working on. Stick with us. Don't worry. It's coming.
Mind control. All you have to do is think about it and it's going to pop right up now.
Neuralink going through your ear. If you twitch your ear, you're going to get the price of a comic and a cup of coffee.
That's future tech. That's 2 years in the when the aliens come and then we have that technology. It's great. They're already here though. So anyway.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
And we were going to jump in. Do we want to go more into the front page update, or is that good enough?
Well, just know that you're going to see it very soon. We'll talk about it on our next show and go through it in more detail. But it's pretty cool. It's adding a lot of new features that are going to make it better, and then we're moving on to other fun things that are going to be more front end facing. I should say the last about 6 months or so, our team's really been dedicated to fixing back end things, improving our quarantines, improving the quality of the data that we bring in. We've hired some new content managers that are going to support with making sure, from the manual aspect, like what's going on with the site. Matt's team is in charge of all of our content, and we're putting out let's jump to the content section real quick.
I'll answer Chris's question real quick. Chris asked, new customer to your site. Higher graded comics is lower than a lower graded counterpart. $2 for a 9.8, $12 for a 6.5. So there's not necessarily a fix for that. So I'll describe what happens with that. So there's two things going on. Data could be stale, right? If you look at the date, it could be 2-3 years old for a near mint. And then a VF could be this week, and that sold for $100, where that sale from that near mint sale from 2 years ago was $10. So this is live sale. These are actual sales coming through. We're not trying to curve the volume or curve the prices to make them fit those windows or fit those buckets. We are thinking of ways to allow you to option to kind of project prices in the future. There's a lot of things that we're thinking about, but effectively, sorry, John, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's kind of tricky because some people like that, right? We get both emails from people who say like, thank you, because I'm going to get that one pressed. I'm going to look for the lower value, get it pressed, bump it up. And it actually shows like little microclimates in the overall spectrum of sales, because every comic is really different by its grade, right? It has different price points. And it's weird because a lot of the competitors out there would say like, oh, we're just going to create an algorithm and tell you what it's worth. But then you're going to get they're going to say a 10.0 is worth 1,000 times, 1,000x what the standard cover is worth. And it doesn't.
Well, it might just go for 100. Like Batman Damned is a perfect example. A 9.9, a 10, and a 9.8. There's not major jumps. But this is a very common problem we see with like content that's announced. So what happens is when something's announced, everyone will rush out to all the online marketplaces and buy up whatever they can, which is usually they go for the best quality books for the lowest price. So you'll see a near mint, all these near mints sell for like $2, and then people will then settle for the VF at $10, and now there's a VG one for $20. You kind of see this wave of pricing going backwards because people are just taking what's left. And then about a week or two, those people will get their copies, relist them, and then it kind of evens back out. Then near mint prices are coming back in accurately, and it kind of just fixes itself. But yeah, there's plenty of times where you'll see sales not look perfectly scaled down, and it is really a representation of what's selling. And it allows yourself to kind of step in and be like, well, if a VF just sold for $100, I have a near mint copy, I'm going to list it for $300. That's not, that's pretty much what you would do, if you saw that. Now there's other people who might not be paying attention to those sales, list a near mint copy for $20, not paying attention to that high VF sale because it was the only copy on the market. And then that near mint book sells for $30. And people are like, well, what happened there? And it's really just, not everyone is hyper drilled into what's selling. And so the sales that you're seeing are literally what is moving. And we're not trying to alter that data to fit a perfect wave. I know it's hard. And it's nice to see a good flow. But anyways,
and we have a ton of things coming that are going to update the value ribbon stuff that we call it. Should I jump into the collection section, Matt, or do you want to do the content? Or?
Oh yeah, we'll just run through what we're going to do. We're going to do the hot page real quick, and then new releases, and then content. Sure. No, we were going to do hot and then content. That's right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
A hot list. If you haven't been to this section, if you're a long-term member, this was a useless section because it was filled with issues. It was more of a call out to all the books that were wrong, and we fixed that, and we fixed those numbers. So it's actually very nice now. It's actually a very good. Basically, these are the books that might not hit the hot list, but are usually saw an increase in volume, or an increase in price with a small amount of volume mixed in to kind of support. So it's not like a one-off. These are books that saw multiple sales, but a little less than what's moving. So these are a good reflection on things that are kind of seeing an upwards trend. And expect this list to grow a little bit more as we continue to keep working on it.
Yeah, and I mean, just coming to this daily, you'll get a sense of like what's actually happening. Matt and his team have worked really hard to make sure it's more accurate and more relevant, and so that's good. Let me answer a couple of these questions as they're popping in. Any chance of increasing the virtual box count? We'll get to that in a second in the collection section, but yes, we can do that. I just made a note of that. I think that's important.
It's very highly requested. So yeah, it's you're not the only person.
Any chance of getting historical sales data and other information visualizations? Yes. Later this year, probably Q3 of this year, we're going to redo the entire content details page. And we have a lot of fun things that we're going to do in that section that's going to make visualization of the data better, visualization of the comics in your collection over time better. So yeah, graphs for sure are coming. Don't you worry. And then one more before we move on to this other one is, I know you guys are always improving. Thanks, John. I don't know, John, I think you said that we met before or something like that earlier. We have the same name, so that's cool. I'd have to see your face to recognize. I'm good at faces, but John is, it's my name too. Anyway, we should promote your site. My biggest thing would be,
did you write this?
No, I didn't.
You're like,
hey, believe it or not, John is a popular name.
John, I would love to answer that question then.
Thanks, John. How'd you get so handsome, John?
Matt.
Well,
yeah, the next person's Matt. Yeah,
Matt DeVoe. CovrPrice. My biggest thing would be more details on each book, writer, artist, cover, inker, all of that. Yes. Our goal, like you said, is we want you to stay on CovrPrice. We don't want you to have to go to different things. We want, if you're going to pay a subscription for something, it might as well be for a website that has everything in place. And we're working on that, and we'll get to that. Yeah. When we redo the content detail page, which is the page you get to when you click into a comic or look, research or search for a comic, that page will, in the very near future, this year, have this is what we're trying to get to: creator info, more series info, art, story arc info, character info. All of those things we're currently building out. In the back
census, all that stuff.
Yeah, the census. It's all coming. I mean, we're comic collectors like you guys. We want that on the site. The way it works, is like you come up with an idea and it takes you 3 or 4 months to build it and then test it and then cry at night when it doesn't work the way you want it to work, and then look in the mirror and say, "You got this, guy," and slap yourself in the face, and then go back to work.
Right. And there's always a hierarchy of what's most important to do right now, versus other. We wish we could do everything all at the same time, but
I mean, it's putting out fires. It's making sure the site's stable. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when we first launched back in 2018, the site would go down because you guys would put all your books in, and we're like, there's too much storage. We fixed all that. We fixed that like three years ago, and it's very rare for the site to go down. It's very rare for any kind of back-end issues. It's because we've been building that foundation. But now we finally found our pace. And now, like this year, you're going to start seeing more and more. And that's why we're going to be doing this show, to talk through different aspects. Matt, let me jump to the collection section real quick, and then we'll go to...
Yeah, 1 second. I'm going to take a quick break. 1 sec.
Yeah, I'll go into that. I'll take you off. Yeah, let's see, maybe I can... I'm new to this. Here we go. Yeah, you get to see me. So, and I'll go ahead and do this real quick. Okay. So in the content section itself, the collector section, we've made a huge change. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen this and played around with this. So first, this is not my collection. I don't have Amazing Fantasy, but I wanted to show you something that a lot of people, I think, miss. One of the things that was really important to us with this update was making accessing and managing your collection as easy as possible. I hope all of you are seeing this, but you can do this now. You can actually go in and edit multiple things in your collection, everything at once, one thing, two things. I'm going to take out this $800,000 Spider-Man. You can go through, edit all of those, and delete all at once, right? When you do that, the site will update itself. You come back to the top, hit update. The site's recalculating the total value based on actual sales data within the last few hours. So we update our site like three to 5 times per day. And so now, oh man, I had all this money. Now I don't. But the whole point of that is you can actually go through and do a lot. Like, so for example, say you wanted to add all of these to a certain location. The difference between a location and a virtual box is a virtual box lets you aggregate everything to see like summaries of that. Whereas a location would be like, oh, it's in long box A, it's in long box B, it's in the garage, because then you could filter your entire collection by that and just see those comics as well. Delete obviously removes it from your collection. Mark as sold. So if I was to mark something as sold, you can put in a sales value. And a lot of you are asking, well, where can I see those profits? That's coming. We're going to add a new tab to the collection section that allows you to see all of your profits and losses. So we're currently in the process of building that, but that's coming. So if you keep doing that, keep marking it as sold and telling us what it is, we'll at least have that when it's ready. Assigning a grade. So let's go ahead and assign a grade. You can go in and assign, I'm going to say these are both graded or raw. And I'm going to say, yeah, they're 9/8. Oh, Matt, you back. Great. Let me get you back in here. And then you can do it all at once. So again, this is all about efficiency and getting everything there. And of course, assigning a purchase price. So why is assigning a purchase price interesting? Well, if you go into list view, there's a little Easter egg. Only in list view can you actually see your gains and losses, right? So you can go here and start filter and sort everything by your top gains and losses. But what you have to do is see these don't have anything associated with it because I need to put in what I paid for it. If I say that I paid $5 for this, just for example, and hit save, you'll see what the profit is or the loss.
That was a good buy.
That was a good buy. That was a really good buy. And of course, if you wanted to, you can say, I'm going to assign a purchase price to everything. And so say you're doing a whole entire collection or whatnot, you can just do it that way. And you can do that. So another way to use the site is if you, so I mean, number one, that's pretty cool. I think that makes it really affordable. I want to call out also, we have a ton of stuff. Everything in your collection, you don't have to go into detail, but if you tell us what the grade is, our system will then map it to that grade. If you don't tell us the grade, the system will take the most common condition and assume that your comic falls around there to help you kind of estimate. So you don't have to put a grade, but if you want more accuracy in the overall, a summary of your data, then do that. Obviously, you can put in a grading company. Here's all your storage information. If you want to put it into a virtual box or if you want to say it's in a different location. Here's a cool thing. You can actually say that, like this is probably Campbell. you can add a signature to each of these things, and you could do multiple signatories on it as well. So before you can only do one, or you couldn't even do any, actually. You could just assign it as an autograph. Now you can put in a bunch of stuff. This is interesting. This is the my value. Let's pretend.
But just to note that the price doesn't change with those extra signatures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one. That's true.
As of now.
As of now. The my value is interesting. If you don't agree with the price, say you catch something on CovrPrice and you're like, oh, that's just a complete outlier, I disagree. You go ahead and put in your own my value and hit save. That's going to change the bottom to black. It's going to put a little person icon right there so that you know you made that change. And now this is the estimate that you've given your comic book. Okay. And so now it's just a way, and you can sort by that too. You can say like, show me everything with my value. Somewhere in here. All things to sell. Values. So you can actually go in here and say, just show me my value comics. And then you could go through. And if you think that we've updated, because every time we update the price, like again, 5 times per day, when we do that, that value might change. You can just go in and say, oh, okay, let me remove the my value altogether. And it'll just revert back to things. So if there's something you disagree with and it's throwing off the value of your thing, put in your own value. Do your research and put in your own value, I should say.
But I think it's called out differently, right?
What's that?
That your own value is called out differently with a different color.
Yeah, I showed that in the value ribbon. It had that.
Okay, great.
And also, we have a new dynamic search. Let's say you're looking for, what do we have here? Just X-Men. Just type in X-Men, and the search, without doing anything else, hands off, will pull all your X-Men. If you want to see just your number, well, these are all number ones. Let's say number 300. If I do number 300, it'll pull that as well. So again, making your massive collection accessible to you brings it up. I see a question right here. When can we export a spreadsheet list of our collection? You can email us. Email us at info@CovrPrice. Tell us your username, and we will send that to you. In the future, you'll be able to do that from this page itself as well.
Yeah, right now it's all on the back end, and it's pretty accurate too. Like something like 97% accurate. Oh no, that's to import stuff in from an Excel sheet. Sorry.
Yeah. Export's 100%.
Yeah, 100% export. Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
Also, just wanted to call out, you can look at your entire collection by like estimated highest value, current market trend, your profits in dollars, profit in percentages. So if you're going through and adding what you paid for it, we'll say, yeah, you can already search by that information. And so there's a ton of stuff.
If a comic has not been sold, then you would have no price to update. Yeah, that's correct. If there's no sales, it's going. We're only bringing in the sales that happen. It also helps show scarcity. By we wouldn't put fake sales in or estimate what it's worth because, anything could be worth anything at any time. Depends how bad someone wants something or doesn't want something, or how supply and demand factors in. So there's so many variables that I think is impossible to estimate.
One thing to call out on this new page is if you just hover over the key information, you don't have to dive in anymore. And this is going to be present across the entire site in the future. You can just click over that to see why it's key. Also, let me just jump in real quick. I know I don't want to waste all your guys' time with going into all the details here, but obviously,
there's a lot to do in this section. It really is designed for those who really want to get super detailed with their collection.
Let's go to this one real quick. Yeah, and so you can go into a collection, an actual section, and see everything. So obviously by series, you can see your entire series. You can do all the editing within the series that we just showed you on the other page. Virtual boxes. So a virtual box is something you create. If you wanted to, I could say, hey, give to Matt, right? Give to Matt.
Oh, I like this box already.
You owe him. And so these are things like, say, Matt comes over and says he wants to buy some things in my collection or whatever. So there's nothing in there right now. So it's blank. But if I go back to this one and I say, okay, well, let me edit. I'm going to say, I'm going to give him my Secret Wars because you're a nice guy.
I want the NYX. Thank you.
Don't you dare. That's my favorite. Okay. And so, you can select as many things as you want. And then all you have to do is say, add to virtual box, things to give to Matt. It's in that box. So you can do multiple things at once. I go back to virtual boxes. I can click on that, and here's everything I want to give to Matt. And this is helpful when you're looking for, like, you're going to a convention or something. You can add stuff to your collection, put it in a box, and then erase it all if you want, or put it on your wish list. It's good to know, like, say you're sizing up a collection to buy, add it to your collection, put it in a virtual box, and then see what you should pay for that collection based on, sales data, what it's worth. And then finally, I think this is really cool, and a lot of people don't know about this. In the wish list, if you go into list view, especially on like your phone or whatever, we will tell you can put in a desired grade, and we'll tell you the estimated value based on your desired grade. So if I put this in and see, hopefully this has one that I'll say a 9.6 or whatever. It's probably new, so it might be 9.8, or there might not be sales because it's a new comic, but okay. So you can put that in. If it's a direct hit, it'll say just 15. If it's the most common condition, it'll put the condition next to it and then give you the grade. But this is super helpful when you go to the new release section, which is over here, which, by the way, you can go back in time to see all the new releases, see what's trending. You can literally say, like, let me go to last week. I can say, tell me everything that came out last week, what's performing at its highest, filter by highest estimated value. And now I can, if I go into my comic shop and happen to see these on the shelf, which you probably won't see any of the 1 in 100s or anything like that on your shelves, but some of these, you'll see some of the stuff sneak in, and it'll be a great way to be like, oh, I want to add that to my wish list. I'm going to add that to my wish list, and it's kind of creating your little personal pull list. So when you walk into the shop, you can just go into your collection, go into your wish list, and then you'll have all those things that you added. If you were looking at Ultimate X-Men, for example, you can say, oh, what did I want for Ultimate X-Men? Just type in Ultimate or the first like 3 or 4 letters. It'll pull you in. Okay, I should probably pay around 54. Anything below that's a deal. So there's a ton of things within the site that we've secretly kind of added that we might not have done a good job explaining that we're trying to get in front of now.
Yeah, and you can start.
What was that, Matt?
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, do any of you guys have questions about the collection section before we move on? I know you probably were typing a bunch, but I was not looking. I was showing. Matt, did you see any?
I mean, there's a lot. We couldn't keep up with them because they were going so fast. So make sure to save your questions for the end, and we'll hit them up faster at the end if they weren't applicable to this right here. So save it. We'll come back to it. So let's jump into. Did we show this one? I like that new release feature because you can also separate out by publisher and add, take out the word variant if you don't want to see variants. The one thing that this list does include is we track down all the exclusives for each of these books. So all of those do show up in this list because they were released at the same time. So if you take out variant, you'll most likely just see the books that are on shelves at your comic shop.
Yeah.
But I use this every single week, and we just did a day after Wednesday, and we kind of go through our day after Wednesday article. Kind of taps into the books that are trending that came out yesterday, and so we utilize this list, and sales are actively changing on Wednesdays and Thursdays by the hour. So we often, make sure that even though our prices are, from an hour ago, we definitely double check to make sure that we're showing you the right prices.
Definitely take advantage of the new release section. I mean, if you're going in your comic shop, it's awesome. It'll add it to your wish list, put it in your collection, find it in our marketplace, which is an aggregation of different places to find a comic to buy. You can go in and say, just show me what's coming out. That's a new release, or a number one. And I selected already just only these 3 publishers. And now you're only going to see all the brand new comics that just came out, right? The new releases.
One issue you'll find on this that might, have you a little frustrated is that list is not sticky. So if you were drilling down and you click on a book, it'll take you to the next page. And if you come back, it resets. we're working on that. That's something that's in the works because it drives me nuts. So yeah, that's probably the only frustrating part of using that, is that it doesn't stay where it was. But yeah.
And then yeah, one other what was the other thing I was going to show? New releases. Oh,
we were going to go with the content next.
Yeah, did you want to do one of the detail pages real quick?
What were you going to cover? Sorry,
I was just going to go to like someone mentioned Spawn, so let's go to a detail page with Spawn.
Sure. Why not?
So this is the page that we're actually going to completely redo in the next few months, and make it a lot more interesting and hopefully helpful. But if you guys don't know, this is the last recorded sale. We give you what grade it was. We give you all of. If you noticed, our entire site is kind of color coded. Little Easter egg, I guess, if you didn't notice. But all of raw is always this color. All slabbed are always this color across the site, so you kind of see it in the value ribbons. So these are the most common raw, most common slabbed, and that's what it's going for. So again, giving you a high-level summary of what you should pay or buy a comic for. As Matt said, we hunt down variants. Our team is like ravenous and addicted and OCD about it.
We just brought in more people to search for more, and this is, if you haven't used us during the big conventions, it's pretty awesome. We actually have a San Diego Comic-Con, a New York Comic-Con, and we did a MegaCon. So we do all the big ones where we showed you all the top trending ones, and some, and people use it as their shopping list. We tell you the booth number and how much it costs, and it's super awesome. We even used it. It's super awesome. We used it ourselves just to use for shopping, and it did very well. Yeah, so definitely use that around conventions.
And then you have it's always fun to know what the comic reached, like what was the highest ever. It's insane to think that that Spawn made a $10,000 sale, but that was a 9.9 in 2021. So yeah, that was crazy.
And a lot of people will come to this page and they'll be like, "Oh, it's worth $10,000." No. Like, there are some people that don't pay attention to the details, and there are, you kind of you got to drill down a little bit and understand where the values are.
Which would be, especially. I'm sorry, Matt, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go for it.
Yeah, we had someone reach out to us and say, "Hey, your prices are way off. I'm not seeing, I don't see the prices that you're seeing," because they were putting in all their raw books as near mint 9.8. I was like, well, don't do that because most raw books are not 9.8. Most sellers always list near mint. So, you want to always stay at that near mint price for raw. And when there is something that's near like a 9.8, it always goes for a super premium. But most sellers have learned to never put that in because it's an invitation for returns.
Yeah. But be honest with your grading.
Well, Matt, just assessment. Like, don't use usually, near mint. Near mint is probably the best price to go off of a raw book.
Matt, did you see this question?
Yeah, no. So that is they are called Definitive Films. If you click on any of those videos, their link is at the bottom of the description, in the description box. His name is Randall Lobb. He is fantastic. They've done documentaries for Netflix. They did a Turtles documentary. I'm blanking on the name. They've done a bunch of stuff with Frazetta. And we partner with them, and Rand is kind of our unofficial voice of the site.
We keep hearing people are like, "Who's the voice of that?" And it's
funny. The voice. Yeah,
he's funny. We love Rand and Mark from Definitive, but Rand's the one who does it, and he's fantastic. I did want to show one thing is, if you click into, a lot of people don't know that you can actually go in and see sales data, actual sales data. So if you click into any of either the raw or the slabbed sections, you'll be able to actually parse through, see some fun little graphs. But you can actually see all of the sales that we have at the different buckets that we've added. And the reason we don't do, like, for example, for raw, a slabbed comic, I can say, oh, it's a 9.6, and it's like, it's slabbed, it's verified, it's 9.6. But with raw, there's a subjectivity within it. So we can't say that, oh, just because you said that it's a 9.6, it doesn't mean that the buyer or seller of that's going to agree with you. So what we did is we actually created raw buckets to make it, to cut down on the variability of the subjectiveness of that kind of assessment. And now you get a sense of like, okay, a near mint plus would be a 9.6 to a 10. A near mint is a 9.0 to a 9.4. And so our team, we worked together and came up with these buckets that made the most sense. Not everyone's always happy, with anything, but we think this actually represents most collections and most ways of viewing, like
right.
a comic. And so then we get you can actually see that type of assessment.
So and to tap into this, we're going to show you, these will actually link back to where the actual sales came from. That is the one thing we're working on in the future. And the one other thing we're going to add is we're going to show you crossed out sales, because we get a lot of issues where people are like, hey, you don't have this sale. And a lot of times, if you are searching through eBay, and I see this a lot on Instagram, people on a lot of influencers who will share books, a lot of times these books are canceled and then relisted, and so they sold for these high prices and then they were canceled. So we wait until the sales are 100% confirmed and purchased, and it's 100% confirmed until we release the sale. And sometimes the buyers take days up to a week, and so some of those take a while to get through until that sale is confirmed, until we know what actually happened. And when those sales don't happen in the future, we want to put the sale on, but line it out and say canceled, relisted on this day. So that way there's more, you'll see what's happening behind the scenes in terms of some of these marketplaces to give you a better understanding of what's legit, what's not legit. And we really pour over to make sure we're bringing in the accurate prices. I want to say 70% of the stuff on eBay is our best offers that are not the actual prices you're seeing. So that is one caveat. We're constantly making sure we're bringing in the most accurate prices. And sites like 360 or what, I forget what it's called, but they're wrong like half the time because they're not bringing those in.
It's funny, we didn't know this going into it. If we had known how complex comics would be, we probably wouldn't have started CovrPrice. Like ignorance was bliss. But before we have about 10 more minutes or so, but did you guys know we're giving away a comic book? Boom, boom,
yeah, why don't we have sound effects? We got to have a sound effect board.
I know, I don't have sound effects yet. But check this out. If you guys to enter the giveaway, we're going to do it at the end. Write into a comment right now a hashtag giveaway just like this, and that's going to enter you. No, you can't enter that 10 times and be entered 10 times. It'll filter you out. So just enter it once, and then that's going to be your entry ticket, and we're going to go ahead and do that at the end. But we're giving away a Cobra Commander. Pretty bad.
And this book is fascinating to me. It sells for $150 to $200 raw, in near mint raw, but $250 in a 9.8. I don't get that, but it is what it is. So it's very valuable raw, and this is a perfect copy.
Oh, so real quick, a good opportunity. So I want to show you guys real quick how search works. If I type in Cobra Commander without a hashtag and the issue number, the search page will take me to the series for Cobra Commander, right?
Right.
And anything else that kind of matches. However, and so within there, it says, yeah, this is the series. Then if I click into it, it'll take me to the series page that looks at all the different things, right? But if I go to actual Cobra Commander number 1, so you have to put hashtag 1. That's the only way to actually search for a specific issue. Then you'll get into the issue number 1. You'll get to see all the variants that we've collected associated with it if you want to just get a sense of what's going on. And then you could click into it to get to that specific comic book detail page for that comic. So I know hopefully it's not confusing. We try to clarify it, but
John, if you go back to the search button and not put anything in, if you wipe that out, the instructions on what to do are literally there faded out on the back. So search by use # for issue. A lot of people miss it because they start typing. We had one YouTuber who was like, can't find a book, and it's because they weren't putting the hashtag in front of the number. So yeah, that is a really big thing to know, and we're going to make that a little more clear with the site update that's coming in a week or two. So,
but I wanted to show. So by the way, we have 41 people in the giveaway right now. Be sure to type in exactly what you see on the screen, hashtag giveaway, and you will be entered. And thank you guys. And we should say thank you guys for being members or for being most interested in CovrPrice. Like, this has been a passion project, and then a career, and then everything, you know, in between since we launched. My background was user experience and UX, and designing websites and working with businesses to help them design websites with a psychological kind of component. Matt's background was entertainment and content. And when you put the two together, it was just like, and I've known Matt for over 30 something years, since second grade. And we always grew up loving comics, collecting comics together. And then it was so cool that we got to come together to do this with zero funding. Like we just put our own money in, our own time, sweat equity. And then you guys started coming and telling us how to make it better. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure Matt would echo this, you know, we really, truly appreciate you guys using this thing that we built. And we're just going to make it better and better as we continue to grow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, please thumbs up. What Kenny? How do I highlight that?
Which one?
Kenny the collector, comic collector said, hit that thumbs up. And that is one thing we're trying to get our users. We're trying to grow this channel a little bit more. We haven't been doing a lot with it over when we started it about, I don't know, a year ago. Literally just putting our top 10 videos. But if you're not paying, we have some fun spotlights that we're doing. Like we did one for X-Men 97. That was a lot of fun. We have one for Invincible, top 10 keys, top 10 most valuable. And we're going to start doing a lot more of these shows. And yeah, there'll be a lot more interaction on this channel moving forward.
So yeah, there's our little subscribe prompt right there. So if you would be so kind as to subscribe, we're going to do this weekly as soon as we get our everything figured out. And then it'll be fun. It'll be a fun show where we can just actually hang out and chat comics, because we like talking comics. We just never get to.
And someone asked, I forget, I don't know where it went. Are we going to be increasing the amount of books you can add to your collection for the free version? What is the limit to the free version right now? It's 50, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. So the free version is 50, but it's a limited experience. You can, during the free trial, you can add as many books as you want, but we then limit it to 50. Obviously, we hope that you become a subscriber. And it puts, I mean, we have a team of people that we need to pay to make this happen. It doesn't just, just happen. I mean, a quality website takes a team.
The free version is designed to like, hey, I just want to look up a price once a day. One thing. You're like a super casual user and you don't want to like, it's not worth it to you to like, pay something on a, that you're only going to use often, very lightly. That's kind of what the free version is designed for. It's just a quick one shot, lookups. And then of course, there's two other tiers. So there's a price guide only version. So if you want to do a lot of digging, but you don't want to put books in your collection, but if you're a super user, then you go for the full thing. It's designed to allow you some scalability. But anytime we have to hold your collection, that's a lot of server space. It's a lot of like, so yeah, it's not free.
You don't get nothing for nothing. But I will say that for $2.95 a month, you get unlimited price. You can look up as many comic books as you want. And so it's if you're looking just for comics, that's a great way to keep updated as well. Why don't we switch?
We're almost at the hour, and we're like, I don't know, are we halfway through?
Yeah, we're almost there. Why don't we answer a few of these questions, and then we could save the content section for next video, because we'll be just diving in there.
I could walk you through it real fast.
Okay, yeah.
I'll just do a quick overview. So right now, if you see where John is clicking in, if you're on the main page, you have to click into that CP content. Or if you notice at the front end, there's a scrolling carousel that's updated every day with whatever the new article is. So that's a quick way to get into it. If you come on a daily basis, right there, it'll automatically rotate through.
That's happening now.
Yeah. Otherwise, you go to CP content and it'll show you all the things you missed. So everything new is things you haven't clicked into. And it goes away after a couple of days. So if you were 2 weeks away, you haven't been back for 2 weeks, it won't show new. So basically, these are life cycle articles. I call it life cycle for a modern comic. It kind of takes you through. They're basically designed to help you through the different stages. So like Sunday mornings, we have an FOC article. That's just to highlight some books that have key information that we already know about. So first appearance, a cover by a popular artist, a new launch, something that's notable, will be in the FOC, usually specifically for books that we feel are going to disappear on release. So the goal is to tell your shops that you want to buy these books and to make sure you get it for $2.99, $3.99, whatever the price of is of these books. So you're not picking them up in the aftermarket. And we also want you to get to your shops, because supporting your local comic shop is really important right now. It's going into those shops is such a big deal. And then we go into our top 10s. Top 10 list hits on Tuesday, along with our new release list. Just highlighting some of the stuff that's coming out the next day. The top 10 runner-ups walk you through why these books are moving, a detailed explanation of why they were trending last week. We do then on Wednesdays we have a reflective article that goes back, depending on a fifth week, it goes back 5, 4, 3, or 2 or 1 year ago. We look back on our top 10 from those time frames. So the first week of the month is week 1, second week of the month is week 2, third week of the month is week 3, or 3 years ago. And basically we take our top 10 from those time frames and we show you what they're doing now and what lessons we learned in that time span. What happened to that book in those 3 years? Did it hit new highs? Why did it drop? How's it doing now? Is there hope for it in the future? And we kind of just walk you through, and someone said like, hey, why are you showing this? Don't you want everyone to think things are valuable? And I'm like, no, our point is not to make you think everything is valuable. It's to help people understand the nuances and kind of what has happened in the past to understand what will probably happen in the future. And it gives you a lot of clarity on buying in a modern market and how to kind of navigate a little bit more. That's my favorite section. And then Thursday we do a day after Wednesday, books that are trending from new releases. And then Fridays, my second favorite, which is our Shaker Report. We just go through our favorite big sales of the week, and we kind of go into, not only look at what it sold for, but a little explanation of validity behind that sale and why it was worth selling for that much. And usually there's a lot of good history lessons built into that stuff. Every week I guarantee you will find a book, you'll see a book on this list that you've never seen before, on a weekly basis. And that gives you a lot of power when you're digging at comic shops and conventions, because these books are just littered in back issue bins. Like that Inspector Gadget is $100 raw book. Like it was a free comic book. And I think it was $100. Is that what it sold for?
416 all-time high. But
that was for a CGC 9.8. But that's because I guess it's what does it say? $15, bro. Basically, condition is impossible on free comic book days. But Hellrider, that was like the prototype for Ghost Rider. It's packed with things that are just fun to learn about. And then we go, and then the week just starts over, and we have a crowdfunded article that's a lot of fun if you're into supporting Kickstarter campaigns. There's a lot of upside in some of these. A lot of them fly way under the radar. And then when they actually go, get printed and mailed out, some of these books go nuts. And we try to find those little nuggets of potential in those campaigns. And also we like to support creators that are not published by the big two or Image. And it's really expensive to create a book on your own for Image, because those creators take all the costs on themselves to hire the artists to produce the book. They take a lot of those costs. So, supporting these creators is a huge deal. So and so that's kind of it in the content section. Right now, you got to go into that CP content page, but and when the new front page launches, it's all going to be right there at the front. Also, if you scroll down on that page, there's a lot of fun stuff at the bottom. So we have some more evergreen articles of, hey, here's how to ship a comic, here's everything to know about variants, here's it's all like how-tos, and we're going to be adding to this. We have some big articles that we're working on right now. And then at the bottom is all our YouTube channels, all our partners that use our content, that share our content. So there's us at the top, near Nirvana. If you're not watching a lot of those shows, they're a lot of great information. Very Gary covers our reflective, so if you don't like reading, he reads it for you, and he kind of has his own little nuances that he puts on it and his personal experience.
If you guys aren't following Gary, he's one of the nicest people in the world. Super.
Yeah, Gary is awesome.
Tim and
Lords of Longbox, they do our top 10 show, and they cover the Shaker show. So again, if you don't like reading, you could go to the Shaker show and just listen to them talk about these books, and which is fun because they've never seen a lot of these books before, and it's always like it's kind of fun to surprise people with stuff.
So we wanted to try to stop at the hour because we want to be respectful of you guys' time, but there's a ton of questions. So why don't we do the giveaway? And if you want to bounce, you can bounce. If you want to stay on, we can probably stay on another 10, 15 minutes. Answer questions.
You could drop off after the giveaway, and those who want to linger will linger for 10 more minutes.
All right. So if you haven't already, put in #giveaway into the comments to enter. And don't worry if you, let me show you real quick. Whoop, not that. I need to.
And we don't offer a gift membership yet, but, you could just give them your credit card. No,
don't give Matt. Don't give this man your credit card.
Yeah, no. At what price point do you think a comic is worth slabbing? It's very subjective. I mean, you got to think of so many aspects. How much does it cost to mail in the book, grade the book? And then you can't forget about the shipping costs back from CGC or grading companies too. I mean, it could get kind of pricey if you're doing them one-off. And also every book is a little different. Some books is like, what book was it recently that I was looking at? Jeez. I think it's still the case, but Ultimate Fallout 4 was a good example of like, you could send anything roughly in near mint, anything from a 9.0 to like 9.4. And those had the same values. So if you thought it was a 9.6 or a 9.4, you had a nice buffer there. You might get a 9.8, you might go down, but the prices weren't drastic except for 9.8 to 9.6.
All right.
It's kind of, you got to do the math a little bit. And we're going to help you soon with that. But yeah, you got to kind of play the math in your head of what makes most sense to you to get graded. And also, if it's a perfect copy and you love the book, I mean, I have a whole bunch of books I want to send in because they're my PC books, and value doesn't really mean anything to me. I just like the way they display, so
we'll answer that question in a sec. Okay, here we go. Giveaway time. So the way it's going to work is this. This is going to draw. Everyone who's in here is now entered. You have to be present. And if you win or when you win, we want you to reach out to us on Instagram. And because we need to tell us your Instagram name. We'll write it down, your name here. Tell us your Instagram name before you leave. And then that's how we'll verify you. And then we'll communicate with you through that and get you Cobra Commander. Was that number 1?
Yeah, Cobra Commander number 1. It's the John Boy foil 1 in 50.
Boom, this one.
It was also called the spoiler cover because it has Megatron on the back, who, if you have not read the series, it's fantastic, by the way. He was he's dead essentially when it starts, so they reactivate him. So it's kind of it's pretty cool.
Treasury, don't worry if you guys don't have Instagram, let us know in the chat here, and we'll figure some way to connect you. We just don't want like 50 people claiming to be you emailing. It's like, how do we verify that? So it's one of those things, and that's the only thing we can come up with. Is like, yeah, Instagram verifies it for us. All right, drum roll. Here we go. The Desert Duo. Here we go.
Yeah, we need a sound bar.
Yeah. Oh, look at all these people. And the winner is Matt DeVoe.
Right.
Okay. Oh, cool. You had a cool comment earlier. Fedor Jeftichu. Jeftichu. All right. If you could comment, congratulations, first of all. And don't worry, every week we're going to try to do a giveaway of about $100 comic book or so. So just keep coming back, and eventually you'll win. 50, 40 people is not too bad. But hey, amazing. So do you have a Instagram? Do you have an Instagram account? And if you can, reach out to us, CovrPrice on Instagram. Mr. Fedor.
Amazing.
Okay, one moment. No, you don't have to post it here. You could just reach out to us directly anytime tonight or tomorrow or whenever, and we'll get back to you. But we wrote down your name. We'll get you that comic. Congratulations. And to everyone else, like I said, stick around because we are definitely going to be doing more giveaways and more fun stuff. But let's now answer some questions. We'll stay on for, I'm going to set my little, this is how I stay productive. I have one of those timers. So I'm going to set it for 15 minutes. And then we'll come back next week or whenever we do this again, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. And next time we'll take you through some of the content and we'll highlight some of our, favorite stuff. We'll talk about the market a little bit more and what's going on in it and kind of our perspectives of the books that are trending, especially in the top 10. Because there's, not everything's sustainable, but then there's sometimes that there's some books that are, a lot of people aren't paying attention to.
You guys are, what a nice community. Everyone's congratulating him and stuff. That's cool. That's the kind of, let's be honest, there's a lot of people in the world and a lot of different attitudes about collecting and stuff. Matt and I have always been those guys who go into the shop and just want to have a good time and talk to people and just be, chill. It's like, we don't, I don't know. So it's nice to see a community that actually, shares the wins with everybody. So that's cool. And those of you who don't, I'm going to kick you out now.
Whoa.
Just joking. Okay. So the question, app. I don't know if you just answered that, Matt. I was looking at this. Did you talk about
it? I mean, the app is, it's complicated because, Apple has very strict parameters of charging outside the app. So if we charge through the website, there's things to work through to get that to happen. It is definitely at the top of our mind, or figuring out some way to have a very quick version of it. It's an ongoing conversation, and it's been ongoing for the last couple of years.
I can say that we've built the infrastructure that will allow us to do an app later this year, if not early next year. But it's definitely something that we talk about literally at every meeting. It always comes up. 70% of our usage is through mobile device. But we're getting there, and we're a lot closer than we were. I can say. So yeah, definitely an app's at the top. Any chance to add an option for updated keys to our collection? Yes. So we are going to, this year, we're going to be doing a huge update to our key section. You will be able to see updated keys. You'll be able to see what's in your collection. And when you have marked something as a key, for example, we're going to do more of a crowdsourcing kind of approach to keys and other information. And we'll be able to elevate that so that when the key that you suggested is in there. And I should say, though, we go through these all the time. Not everything is a key.
Right.
I mean, there's different layers of keys, and everyone has different opinions. And other sites out there, will say this is a key, this is a key, and it's like, well, is it? I mean, the third appearance of Wolverine's second toenail claw is not a first appearance of something, in my opinion. But we're going to try to build something in where people can vote on keys, and then the community could just tell us. But there's going to be Holy Grail, there's going to be major keys and minor keys, and we're working on that. So that should be coming pretty soon.
So there's a lot to hit here. Apple Store's a ripoff, 30% commission, break them up.
Yeah, that's true.
What is the gem designation? It's for rare books. And what's the standard? Typically, it's books that have very, very low sales but high prices. Because there's a lot of books that don't sell, but it's because maybe no one wants them, So it's pretty much a mixture of books that have low sales but sell for premiums when they do. So it's kind of designed to be that.
In terms of CLZ, I noticed the number of you guys asking about the relationship. They're a great team. We actually really enjoy working with them. Alan and Sitska reached out to us about over a year ago. And then we worked our butts off to make that happen. And it's really cool. If you guys don't know, if you're a member of CLZ, they're a great collection management system, an app, and they have a lot of cool features. They didn't have a price guide. They reached out to us to see if their members and our members could see our values on their site. So if you're a CovrPrice member and you're happy, awesome. If you think that they have a better collection management system, you can go to them, be a member with us, and then see our data on their app. And they've been a pleasure to work with. They're really fun. We actually have
access to both.
Yeah. So again, we're trying to spread that wide net and make sure that, everything that we do is represented and supported in the community. We had an amazing dinner with them at New York Comic Con last year. And they're awesome. So yeah, that's a great relationship.
But to be able to import and export, yes. You can import and export your list back and forth. They actually have tools built in where you can do it yourself. So you can send us your list, export your list from CLZ and import, and we'll send it to us at info@coverprice.com. We'll bring it in. If you want to export your list, you reach out to info@coverprice.com. We'll give you that list and you bring it into CLZ. And we have all the proper, the proper formats to bring that stuff back and forth easily.
And on their site, what you're going to do is if you don't have a CLZ membership, that's fine too. If you have a collection from a different system, export a CSV file. There's certain headings that we need to do it accurately, and we'll be able to bring your collection in. So say you have it at anywhere else. If you are with CLZ though, for example, it's almost like a 99, it varies, but it could be anywhere between 80 to 99% match rate. And then they have a export to CovrPrice option on their website.
Yeah, there's no export workaround. It's literally on the back end, so you just have to ask our team to do it for you. It's that simple. Yeah.
So great question about keys. If only there was a hover option. Let me show you real quick. If you hover, there is one. So for example, if you find a key that you're interested in your collection, you can just hover. Now, it doesn't work everywhere on the site. Those pages are going to be updated in the next few months to be able to have this, but this is the functionality that you'll be able to have in the near future.
And there will be different designation between a major key and minor key. The problem is the word key has changed in the past couple of years in a big way. It used to mean a key book in your collection. Sorry. Crying here. Just so upset about key books. I lost my train of thought. The word has been diminished a little bit over the years, or it's changed, I should say. It used to mean a key book in your collection. Now it means anything of note, anything notable. We're trying to stay away from that, and we'll have a clear designation of those breakdowns and have a notation, a little space for notes or interesting information. Because if you read our shakers, there's a lot of good information we find, like how some of these books were obtained, how, what they costed initially, like what convent, some of them are like, you had to show up to this panel at this convention and go to this booth. Some books have like crazy requirements. So we'll have a space for that. Currently we do. It's just you have to scroll down a little bit below all the prices.
Yeah, and so are we still hiring? So I don't know if you guys saw, but recently we put out an email for content managers, and we were overwhelmed. We had over 200 people apply for the position. Yeah. And it was really amazing to see everyone's passion and wanting to work with us. Whenever we get a job application or anything like that, or we have a position, we'll email you guys first, the members of the community in our members. So yes, we actually did fill it. It was a hard process. We had to go through literally everybody's resume and everything and make sure that it was the best fit. But yeah, we actually filled that position, and as new ones arise, we will let you know. Yeah. In the near future, we'll have some more.
Yeah, for sure.
And then here's one. Workaround. Okay, so export. You can export your collection. Just email us. Say, hey, I want an export of my collection, and we'll get that to you. So yeah, just give us your username, and I think it's only for actually unlimited members, because that has the unlimited amount of items to your collection, and we'll export it into a CSV file for you. No questions asked. Info price.
Cleveland's been asking this, or I think several people have been asking this similar question. They want to know if there's a way to click into all their keys and see all their keys that they have.
Yeah.
And then the second question is they want some type of a call out of what keys were added, of like what new keys were added.
Great question. Yeah. You can do that two ways on the site. You can either click this button up here or this guy right here. Everything in your collection will filter by your key comics. And then you can quickly go through it. And then anything you apply to that. So now that that's filtered, I can say, well, tell me what my highest estimated value key comic is. And there it is. So yes,
I like to see things in list view. And I think there's an option for that. Like I like to see things, in that format. So it gives you a little more.
Right. And again, like if you want to know what your potential profit is, all you have to do is go in there and tell us what you paid for it. Again, I'm just going to say $5 because I'm generous and I'm a good hunter. And I made $600 or $700.
I mean, in the future, we should just zero it out, probably, so that way it'll show you a value. But
I mean, but this is specifically for your gains and your losses. So we don't,
I guess that's true.
But then again, you can just go in here and say, I want to apply to everything.
A price to everything.
Yeah, and just put that price in. Like when you get your new releases, highlight them all and say I paid $4.95 or whatever for them, and you go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
I've asked 5 times to no answer. Sorry, Jeff. What was that question?
We're waiting for you, Jeff. Now all eyes are on you.
5 times no answer.
Jeff.
You gotta watch out for Jeffs.
Yeah. Our lead engineer is Jeff, and he's amazing. Yeah. Okay. When QO improvement to adding to collection expected. What's QL? Quality, like profit and loss, P&L? Quality. Matt, do you know what that means?
I think it means quails. How many quails are we adding to the site?
Quality of life. Well, tons of quails. That's coming soon. Yeah. When quality of life improvements to adding to collection. Okay, that's it. Okay, I got you. So obviously, getting stuff into your collection is the most important thing. You can send us an export of any digital spreadsheet that you have. You can export from CLZ. Currently, we are going to add, when you go to the series page, you're going to be able to add everything in a series to your collection, right? And then just...
You're saying it's not fun to add to collections. It's horrible. So it's clunky to add books.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's a number of ways that we're going to do to improve that. Ultimately, an image scanner. Ultimately, the ability to barcode or image scan a book and bring it in. And we have our eyes set on that this year as well. It's actually a really important feature that we're trying to get to the site.
It's one of our things at the top of our constant conversations. Like these are conversations we have regularly, and talking through on the best ways to apply those. But yeah, I mean, it's even for us, we want to be able to put things in faster, so we feel it.
You're going to be able to import whole collections like from CLZ. Yes. From CLZ specifically, if you export from their website to CovrPrice, they have an option there. We can bring in 80 to 99%, sometimes 100% of your collection from CLZ. The only difference then is our databases communicate with each other, right? So if those comic books have been linked, which like 95% of them have, we'll be able to bring in your collection completely over to CovrPrice. So yeah, just go to the CLZ app and export to CovrPrice. Go to info, send your email to CovrPrice with your username. You have to be an unlimited member, and we'll add it to your entire collection for you. No problem.
Yeah. It is a tedious process, no matter how you do it. That's true.
Yeah,
but, we're going to be actively working to make that a much quicker process.
I will say this: one thing that I do with it is on my phone. When I'm adding it, I'll just use speech to text, and I'll say Secret Wars #5, boom, add it. I don't even have to type. So, I mean, there's ways around it, but we are working hard to make sure that getting stuff into your collection is a priority, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're about out of time. We said we were going to give you about 15 more minutes, and I think we did. We can ask. I wish I can randomly, like, I don't. Maybe there is a way to randomly, like, have a thing pop up here.
The one thing I'll say, check out tomorrow. A new shaker report hits. Actually, the Lords of the Long Box is going on right now, and they're covering it. So if you want to jump over to the Lord Show, jump halfway through. I wonder, can we send people? Can we? No, that's only like a nothing. Can we flood people? No.
Well, by the way, I'm going to bring Bobby. If you're decent, I'm going to bring you in real quick. So I wanted to say thanks to Bobby.
Oh, that was quick.
No, but Bobby's been answering a lot of your questions and responding, and Bobby's our editor on the site, so he's been amazing. So thank you for all your help, Bobby.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, do you have anything to say? Any words of wisdom?
No, that's it. Go watch the Lords if you can right now. Check out the Shakers report. I promise you'll enjoy it on a weekly basis.
Yes.
And if you have any of those books, let us know. Because on the Lord Show they call it the offer list, because no one ever really has these books. So yeah, check it out. It's fun.
So thank you guys very much for everything.
Yeah, I'll drop the link.
We are going to be doing our live this regularly. We'll answer the questions we didn't get to. More search options. Yes, we are actually doing a data thing where you will be able to search by creator and see all their stuff. So we have. Trust me, we have. It's all working. It's all getting done. But again, thank you guys so much for your time. Thanks for being a member. And
there you go. There's a link to the Lord's Show right now. So go flood that. Right now, they looks like they're about halfway through. It's a fun show.
Cool. I'm going to exit on our cool little standby thing. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you guys all soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.